Hello everybody, my name is Falcon Destroyer, and today we are we are starting the first class trial of Danganronpa 1. That's right time, guys, it's time for the trial of Sayaka Mizuno. Oh, hold on, I should... hold on. It shouldn't be a problem.
Let's begin with a basic explanation of the class trial.
Thank God.
So, your votes will determine the results.
Okay, so I don't have to talk this time because they're talking for me, and that's what I like. I don't like talking for characters is fun, but your voice gets strained and stuff. So
if you can figure out who done it, then only they will receive punishment. But if you pick the wrong one, then I'll punish everyone besides the blackened, and the one that deceived everyone else will graduate.
And the killer really is one of us, right?
Of course!
Okay then, everyone close your eyes, and whoever did it, raise your hand!
Don't be a goddamn idiot. Why the hell would they raise their hand?
Oh my god, that pure being. Oh, it seems ever so deep. Thought that without a class trial.
Before we move on and start the trial, can I ask a question real quick?
Kirigiri is the only one who sings is our friend, right?
What's going on with those pictures?
I'd feel awful if they got left out just because they died. Friendship penetrates even death's barrier. Friendship penetrates?
Okay, but what about that other empty seat? There were only 15 of us to begin with, so why are there 16 seats?
Oh, no reason. It's just that our little courtroom here can technically fit up to 16 people. Okay, that about does it for the preamble. Get ready to get started. First up is the case summary. Now, let the class trial begin.
Okay, it's about to begin. The debate to decide who we think the killer is. Anything I found, anything I noticed, I have to be ready to speak up about everything. Oh crap, I haven't made one of these videos in a while. Do I even remember every single clue? But because this isn't just about me, everyone's lives are on the line. Oh yeah, okay, I remember this. Everyone thinks we done it because the murder was in our room because me and Sayaka trade foods, right? Your first non-stop date is about to begin. Would you like to hear more? Why not? As things progress during each class trial, you will engage in a number of non-stop debates. During these discussions, characters will speak one after another without pause. It's up to you to unearth any lies or contradictions buried within their statements. What this means is that you'll have to use your truth bullets to refute what they say. Any relevant reversal you found during your investigation will be loaded into the truth cylinder. Just use the left stick to aim and fire with the triangle mode. Play close attention to each character's statements, and use your truth bullets to blast the right ones. Note, if you run out of time, you will automatically fail, so be careful. If you press the options button during these arguments, you can review the controls. Well then, good luck and have fun. Okay.
I assert that the one who was murdered was Miss Sayaka Mizuno!
Yeah, we know that part already.
And the murder took place in Makoto's room.
In the bathroom. So it seems most likely that the killer must have taken her by surprise while she was in the bathroom.
She didn't even have a chance to resist.
No, that's wrong!
Yeah, so that's one.
Just a second, Chihiro. Try to remember how my room looked. With the way things had been damaged, I think we can definitely assume there was a struggle.
A struggle? Between who and who?
Between Sayaka and the killer, of course.
So you're saying
Sayaka wasn't caught by surprise in the bathroom?
Wait a minute, what did
She
she do
must
in the
have been
bathroom?
attacked in the main room first. Then, she ran to the bathroom to try and hide.
That makes sense.
The killer followed her in, and that's where they finished the job.
That's cool.
That much should have been obvious after taking one look at the scene. It shouldn't even need explaining.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay, so what's next?
Okay. So let's see. Chihiro could be a suspect because she just said that. But at the same time, I don't know. Celeste seems pretty hesitant, but she's also very calm. Aikyu is just cold, so he's automatically a suspect. He freaked out, so I don't think it's him, because he would have freaked out if he killed her.
Next is the subject of the murder weapon.
Okay, I can't even say that because everyone's so calm.
This is starting to sound like a real trial.
Oh my god. When you determine what was used to kill Sayaka. The audience.
So what was used to kill her?
It was some kind of sharp, without a doubt.
So the killer used some random knife they had?
No, it's wrong.
No,
They're just sitting
I
there
do think it was a knife, but not just any knife. I'm almost positive it was a kitchen knife.
I'm pretty sure they're just trying to set it up for us just to get us the feel. You know? Of it.
Huh? A kitchen knife?
After the murder, we discovered that one of the knives from the kitchen was missing.
Which means that knife must be the murder weapon.
Oh, yeah. I guess that makes sense. You could sort of see the weapon sticking out of her stomach.
Yeah.
And if you look real close, I could totally see that being a kitchen knife.
Okay, so the murder weapon was a kitchen knife, but where does that get us? I mean, we all know Makoto killed her, right?
Oh my god, here we go again.
That's right. Makoto's room was the scene of the crime. What more proof do you need?
Hold on a second.
Let's draw our conclusions after we've presented our arguments. Otherwise, what's the point of the trial?
Okay, so she's with us. She's not with us.
Well, we can talk all we want. It's not going to change that conclusion.
I don't think that's true at all. I'm sure if we keep at it, something new will reveal itself.
But she's already saying she knows this, right?
You really believe that?
Right, there's gotta be a brick or something. Just waiting for us to find it. I know. There's a bit more to learn about face. You can concentrate holding the R1 button. While you're concentrating, time will slow down, so you can pay close attention to what everyone's saying. On top of that, it'll steady your aim, making it easier to target your potential weak spots. Concentrating like this consumes the focus gauge. If this gauge is empty, you can't concentrate. But the focus gauge will recover over time, so just let your brain to the left, rest, and the rush. Well, good luck and have fun.
So I guess there's no question that the kitchen knife was the murder weapon. But where does that...
Makoto did it in secret. Nobody was in the dining, and then he went and stabbed.
So he really did. We've reached the end.
Oh, I didn't read.
So I guess there's no question, but where does that...
Makoto did it in secret.
No, that's wrong. Okay, wait. Hold on. I didn't take the knife from the kitchen.
Next, you're gonna say you're not the killer, right? Go ahead and say it all you want.
Well, what if I have a witness? What do you think, Tina?
Huh?
Remember what you were telling...
Well, I went to get some tea from the kitchen last night, and then I was still here. So I think my team will go back to the kitchen, walk the glass, or I might just walk. Everything the night before while you're drinking tea in the dining hall, Yeah.
Just to be perfectly clear, the knife disappeared while you were in the dining hall, correct?
Yeah, that's right.
And at any point while you were there, did you ever see me come into the dining hall?
No.
You don't think so?
No, he definitely wasn't there.
The knife disappeared while Hina was in the dining hall. But I wasn't there the entire time. In other words, there's no way I could have taken the knife.
Okay, then what about this? What if the idiot swimmer girl and Makoto are in on it together and lying to protect each other?
Idiot swimmer girl?
Oh god.
Oh, and more importantly, why would I get involved in something like that?
Speaking of which, I'd like to ask the bear, if there is an accomplice, do they also become blackened?
So you ask, and so I shall answer. Each murder is allowed to have an accomplice, but only the one who does the killing will get to graduate.
So in other words, two people can work together, but one of them has no chance of profiting from it.
Then there's no way anyone would work together.
But what if they did work together?
Good grief! Enough already! No, okay? There are no accomplices in this case!
Okay, so it wasn't two people working together, it was only one person. It's definitely not me, and it's definitely not Hina. So that leaves another 14 students.
Oops! Did I say that out loud?
13. No. Oh my god, I keep forgetting that people are dead. So we take away 2. Those are the 2 dead. Junko, Psych. Then we take away me and Hina. There's 11 students left.
Anyway, I didn't go to the dining hall, and I didn't take the knife.
So, Hina did see us, but she had to see someone, right?
So I'm not the killer.
That's a solid statement.
Okay, so then, who did take the knife? Hina seems the obvious candidate. After all, she just said she was in the dining hall.
No way! I swear it wasn't me!
Sure, but can you or anyone else prove that?
He's like a detective. He's acting like one.
I can.
That's right! Sakura was with me the entire time I was drinking my tea.
Okay, so Sayaka's off the list too. There's 10 students left.
I hate to have to ask, but just to be sure, Sakura's...
Me.
Right.
But then, couldn't either one of them have grabbed the knife?
Actually, no. Because, well...
Just spit it out already.
I stayed in Hina's room last night.
Oh, okay, so they're with each other the entire time.
I got so scared thanks to those creepy videos. I wasn't really thinking, I just asked her to stay over.
You're good friends.
Which means we have airtight alibis.
You stayed over? Doesn't that violate one of the school regulations?
We're not allowed to sleep anywhere but the dorms, but it doesn't say we have to stay in our assigned room, so I don't think that's a problem.
It is a problem! A boy and a girl spending the night together? It's unwholesome!
They're both girls.
But I'm a girl.
Oh no.
You are? Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry!
Oh my god. Oh my god. I can expect this game. I mean, like, not to make a rule, but have you guys seen that video? Or not like rule, I mean, like, not to be rude. Have you guys seen that video about the people that say don't assume the gender? The actual person who made that video and that's a whole lot clear about that. He would get so. Those people. That was the person would get so mad at Kyo.
But if it wasn't either of you, then what other possibility is there?
What is there?
Actually, there is one other possibility. Right, Hina?
Oh, yeah, that's true! One other person did come to the dining hall while we were there.
Uh-oh. Okay, so they might already have this airtight.
Why didn't you say so in the first place?
Actually, that's true.
Well, because they're not here anymore.
What? Someone who's not here? Are you talking about?
Sayaka. She's the one who came to the dining hall. And then later, she wound up dead.
Oh, it got quiet. That's scary. Okay. Now that there's a little bit of silence. So Sayaka came into the kitchen and The murderer used her own weapon against... Wait, why would she even go in there? She said she was looking for defense. So the murderer came into her room, Sayaka used the knife to defend herself, then got disarmed, ran into the kitchen, or bathroom, killer followed, and then stabby. Sorry, I'm tired. Sayaka. Okay, so the person who cooked the knife from the kitchen, they just said...
I got it! Then, Sayaka is the one who took the knife?
That's what she just said.
That's the only possibility. And
So
thinking back on it, she was acting kind of unusual. When she came into the dining hall, she didn't even look at us. She just went straight to the kitchen. As she left, she said she just wanted a drink of water. But most likely...
And the person who took the knife was the victim herself!
I'm sure she just took it for self-defense.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
So you're saying the knife she took was then taken from her, and she was killed with it? In that case, you may not have taken the knife, but you still could have killed her.
That's true.
What?
See? He did do it after all!
No, you're wrong.
So, that's how you would twist the argument and send us all off in the wrong direction?
You know, I feel like I'm really tough for someone.
You possess a most terrifying talent.
See, I feel like in this kind of situation, someone's going to like straight up hit someone. Because when they're close like this, right? They're right to the shoulder, they're shoulder, basically. Someone could just next to them, or even then, someone could go around and easily hit them. If I don't do anything, they're going to blame me. Once they understand, if they convict me, everyone's going to die.
Hold on. It's still too early to decide conclusively that Makoto is the killer, wouldn't you say?
Okay, so she's still with us, the marijuana.
Because you see, if the room did belong to the killer, then they did something most bewildering. And until we unravel that little mystery, you simply can't declare that he's the killer.
I feel like if we get it wrong, she's going to...
Bewildering? What the hell are you talking about?
Something was missing from the scene of the crime that by all rights should have been there. You know what I'm talking about, don't you?
Oh wait, did I forget something? Oh. Sorry, I wasn't paying attention, but I was just listening. Okay, this sounds fun. As things advance towards the cross trail, the Haymack Gathering will eventually take place. At the point of this is to reveal an important phrase relevant to the interest of the in question. You'll have to decide the phrase when the letters flying around and the letters will be known. Complete the phrase by keying down the flying letters in the right order. With the left stick to aim, side of the letter, this is towards the letter step. If you choose the wrong letter will suffer damage to your
Now I understand! That's right! There wasn't a single hair on the floor!
So, the culprit removed some evidence?
Yes, and if I were the culprit, why would I need to get rid of all the hair in my own room? It wouldn't be unusual at all to find my hair at the crime scene if the crime scene is in my room.
The reason all the hair was gone was to remove any trace that Sayaka had ever been there. That makes sense, does it not?
No. If that were the case, they would have had to do something about the body itself, not just her hair.
Yes, very true, very true.
Okay, then why wasn't there any hair on the ground?
The killer got rid of it all, of course, to remove any trace that they had ever been there.
Then that means...
Precisely. It's simply beyond reason to believe that the room's owner and the killer are one and the same.
Then Makoto isn't the culprit?
Are you sure we can decide something so important based solely on the absence of some hair?
That's true, I wouldn't believe that.
No. There are other reasons that prove why Makoto couldn't have done it.
I would like to hear these reasons.
Do you remember anything remarkable about the bathroom at the scene? Sayaka was attacked in the main room first, then fled into the bathroom, right?
Yeah, then they ran after her, got into the bathroom, and stabbed her.
And how did the killer get into the bathroom? Did they have any trouble with it?
What do you mean?
It's fairly certain that the killer had some trouble getting into the bathroom. There was clear evidence left behind. Do you remember, Makoto?
The killer struggled getting in the bathroom and managed to prove his logical kill broke.
I got it!
Yeah, okay.
Evidence that the killer had trouble getting into the bathroom. You're talking about the doorknob, right?
Huh? The doorknob? What doorknob?
The doorknob for my bathroom. It was completely broken.
That's true.
See how the top part was unscrewed? And the doorknob's about ready to fall off?
Oh yeah, true. But what does it mean?
In trying to bypass the lock, they ended up nearly removing the entire doorknob. This is another most bewildering act for the room's owner. It proves Makoto is beyond suspicion.
So what? You're saying he wouldn't break the door in his own room? But if the only choice you have is to break it, you break it. There's nothing bewildering about it.
That's true.
You still don't see? Okay then. Let's take another look at how the incident unfolded. Hopefully that will help you understand.
Hey, Kyoko said it was a bewildering act. I almost didn't notice at first, but is that the key point here? There's a bit more about non-self would you like to hear more? Absolutely. From here on out, the number of weak spots will start going up. Oh no. No matter how many weak spots there is an essential only one lie or contradiction is in that debate. What I'm trying to say is not all weak spots you see are necessarily false. Use a truth bullet on the wrong one, only will you fail to receive what you say, but you will also lower your trust with everyone, and influence grudge will take damage. Now this is important because if your influence grudge is to 0, you fail. Have to rely on your own logic to determine which weak spots are actually lies or contradictions. Then good luck and have fun. Nothing's over.
The incident took place in Makoto's room. Sayaka was first attacked in the main room. She then fled into the bathroom.
Then the killer ran after her. And they got into the bathroom.
At that point, the killer had to try and bust down the door, because Sayaka had locked it.
No, it's wrong!
boys' room. You can't
The
lock
reason
boys'
my
room.
bathroom didn't open wasn't because it was locked. After all, the girls' rooms are the only ones with walking bathrooms, right?
Yes, now that you mention it, that is true.
Then why didn't your bathroom door open?
Because it was stuck.
Huh? What are you talking about?
My bathroom door doesn't fit in the frame quite right. Monokuma over there can testify to that.
Yup, true as true can be. But you know, you're supposed to be the ultimate lucky student, right? But to have such a cruddy door, that's not lucky at all.
So the reason the door didn't open was just because it was stuck. But the killer didn't know that and assumed it was locked. So they tore apart the doorknob to get in.
Okay, but then why would the killer even think the door was locked in the first place? Everyone should have known you can't lock any of the boys' bathrooms.
The killer could easily make that mistake, thanks to one important detail about the scene of the crime.
The door frame, the door nameplates were switched. The killer was convinced the bathroom door was locked, so they didn't know that the bathroom door couldn't be locked. In other words, the important deal about the secret crime was they didn't know the crime took place.
I got it!
They didn't know
The killer must not have realized that it was my room.
What? Are you saying the culprit didn't even know where he was? That's inconceivable.
You know that's over. Cause you remember in the last episode, we saw that one of the, that our nameplates were switched. My name was on Sayaka's room and Sayaka's name was on my room. Or Makoto, whatever. Room. And like, you could have known about that unless someone switched it and the killer didn't really read. So she saw that he was in a girl's room, so she broke down the door. You know what? If Sayaka was a little bit lucky, she probably would have survived. Depending on when she was stabbed. You know? That's inconceivable.
And yet, he's absolutely right.
Say what?
Well, to be more specific, what the killer didn't know was that Makoto and Sayaka had switched rooms.
Yep.
Which is what led to the misunderstanding about the bathroom. If Sayaka had been in her own room, then
there would have been a lock on the door, and they would have had to break through!
So they had no idea how unnecessary their actions were.
Ultimately, we can't know if it came open by force or simply by accident. But the killer must have been considerably confused, with no idea how they actually got the door open.
Regardless, it was a pointless act. Wasting time trying to break down a door that wasn't locked is
Definitely something I wouldn't do, since I would have known exactly why it wasn't opening, right?
That is a definite possibility.
So the killer would have to be someone who didn't know they'd switched rooms?
Okay, so now... Okay, so Makoto's been made innocent. Sayaka's been made innocent. Or not Sayaka's dead. What am I saying? Ao's been made innocent, and so has Sakura. Kyoko seems innocent. She's helping me. Don't know about Leon. He's not really accepting anything.
Then Makoto couldn't have done it.
See? That's what I've been trying to tell you.
Okay, then who did do it?
So now he's
I'm
dead.
sorry, but I give up! Quit without saving!
But what happens if we can't decide on who we think did it?
Well, why don't we just vote right now? Majority rules!
No.
Majority rules? Do you really think that's a good idea?
Yeah, our necks are on the line here. Someone seriously needs to do something. For serious.
Does no one have any other thoughts or questions? It does not matter how trivial they may seem.
Oh!
As a matter of fact, I do have one question.
Oh, you.
You don't gotta sound so disappointed.
It's fine, it's fine. Just ask your question.
Oh yeah. Okay, so, well, I was just wondering, how did the culprit get into Makoto's room in the first place?
Yes. How did the killer get inside?
Maybe Sayaka just dropped the key somewhere and the culprit picked it up. That's possible, right?
I don't think so. That seems way too convenient.
Yeah, that seems like something that would happen.
Then, maybe someone picked the lock?
Negative! If you remember, Monokuma made it quite clear that the locks are all unpickable.
That's true.
Fine. How about this? The killer got in the easy way. They could have knocked and said they wanted to talk or something, and Miss Maizono just let him in.
No, that can't be it either.
Oh, trying to argue against me? Sounds like someone doesn't know his place. Hello? Why exactly can't that be it?
Because she asked me to do something particular because of how frightened she was. That's right, see. That's where the answer is. There's the way.
I got it!
Oh, well.
Because Sayaka was already scared, remember? That's why she asked me to switch rooms in the first place.
That's true. I mean, the same goes for you, Sayaka. No matter who it is, don't open your door for anyone. Even if I'm sure it's you, I absolutely won't open it. Otherwise, what's the point of even switching?
Knowing what she'd been through, I just can't believe she would have opened the door for anyone.
What if her being scared was a lie?
Ooh.
Huh? Well, what the hell is that supposed to mean? Why would she lie about something like that?
I know you don't want to consider it, but look at this and tell me. Can you still deny the possibility?
I want to talk to you about this. Let's see. 5 minutes, come to me and out here. And then you can make sure you don't get the wrong, okay?
I found a notepad during my search, and I shaded in the top sheet with a pencil. And these are the words that appeared.
Oh man! I've totally seen people do that on detective shows. When you write, it can leave an imprint. Sketch over the next sheet of paper, and you can see the words. When I saw that, I was like, holy crap! I better make sure I rip the paper out before I use it from now on.
It's a pretty old-fashioned technique, but even the classics can be surprisingly useful sometimes. Oh, and I should also mention, I found the notepad on the desk in Makoto's room.
Huh?
Which means only someone who had been in Makoto's room before the incident could have written it.
Then either it was Makoto who lived there, or Sayaka who switched rooms for a single night.
So, Makoto, did you write this?
No, I didn't. But
of course you didn't, because the note also bears a perfectly legible signature. Sayaka's signature.
But why? Why would she write that?
The note was likely her way of getting in touch with a certain someone. She must have slid it under their door to let them know she wanted to meet with them in secret.
If you got an invitation like that from the ultimate pop sensation, what young man could resist?
Of course, I'm only into 2D, so it wouldn't have any effect on me.
But can we be sure anyone even got this note? And honestly, even if they did, I do not think they are at all involved in what happened.
Huh? What makes you say that?
Would you like to hear what I have to say?
Okay.
Very well then. Pay attention. Sayaka and Makoto switched rooms, correct? But in the note, the place they were asked to come to, it specifically says
I see. So if someone read that note, then they would have gone to Sayaka's room.
Exactly. The room that Makoto was staying in.
No, that's wrong! The nameplates on Mai and Sayaka's rooms got switched.
They got switched?
That's right. The nameplates got switched, just like the rooms themselves. As a result, the nameplate on Sayaka's room actually had Makoto's name. And the nameplate on Makoto's room had Sayaka's.
So what you're saying is, the room Sayaka was staying in was actually marked as her room.
Then, if someone did do what the note said, they would end up at Makoto's room where Sayaka was.
Plus, their rooms are right next to each other, so switching the nameplates would be no problem. And the one who switched the names was... Well, of course it wasn't you, right, Makoto?
No, because we just saw it.
Right? Okay, then who did it?
Sayaka? It can't be the killer. The only other person who knew he used to true. Yeah, I was gonna say it can't be Sayaka. Or not the killer. Or not Sayaka, the killer. So it has to be Sayaka, right?
I got it! Me and Sayaka were the only ones who ever knew about us switching rooms. So the only other person besides me who would even know to switch the nameplates was Sayaka.
You can also infer as much from her note.
Well, I'll tell you about just let's do in my room, check the nameplate to make sure you don't get the wrong room. Okay?
She specifically tells the reader to check the nameplate. She would only have written that if she knew the nameplates had been switched.
That's true. When they looked at that, they were
But why would she switch them in the first place?
She wanted someone to come to the room she was in, and also hide the fact that it was Makoto's room.
What?
Inviting someone to your room, but not telling them you'd switched rooms. Why would anyone do that?
To understand that, we first need to understand what happened after she invited the person into the room. That's where the answer lies.
What happened then was probably whoever she invited over came in and attacked her. We figured it out! We know who did it! Whoever she invited over is the culprit!
Well, yeah, obviously, no matter what.
But we still don't know who it is, you goddamn idiot!
Sayaka fought with her killer there in the room, yes?
Yeah.
Perhaps the answer to our previous question lies in that initial struggle.
Maybe.
Yes, I think you're right.
Okay.
Then... we just have to figure out what happened during the fight, right?
Yeah, right.
That reminds me. There was a replica sword at the murder scene. Was that perhaps used during the fight?
Oh yeah. What's the deal with that sword?
Sayaka suggested I should hold on to it. I thought it might come in handy if I had to defend myself. It seems pretty likely that the killer used it to break Sayaka's right wrist.
How the hell could you possibly know that's what broke her wrist?
They're both the reason I know Sayaka's wrist is broken with this big sword is because the wrist is no doubt. Where is it? Oh, right here.
I got it! All you have to do is take a good look at her broken wrist, and it should become pretty clear.
Making a video?
Right there where her wrist is all swollen. There's something glittery there. See?
Is that gold?
It sure is. Specifically, the gold coating from the replica sword. You barely have to touch that stuff, and it'll stick right to you. And there's some on her wrist because...
I got it! Because she got hit with the sword, right there on her wrist!
I see. And so the truth draws ever closer.
All right, then it's about time to solve this mystery.
Sorry about that, everyone. And just to list the weak spots, only one note. Oh, hold on. Are you getting this news from stage? Starting with the next round, I'll start rolling multiple of these bullets into your thing. There's like with 3 spots, only one of those bullets can actually receive the proper signals. In other words, from here on out, you have to combine the right pupil with the right response to receive each signal. If you come up with the wrong combination, you'll take damage, zero, and the L1 button selects the cylinder and choose which bullet to fire. Press and release the L1 button to cycle through each bullet. Or you can hold down and use the left stick to select a specific bullet. By the way, if the launch material is set to kind, your bullet will be loaded into the cylinder. For the purpose, the launch utility will be set to mean. Oh no. Well, if you just not there. We have 3 bullets.
When the fighting broke out, the culprit grabbed the sword, and that's when the first blow was dealt. A sword-based sneak attack!
No, that's wrong! Actually, no. I don't think the fight started with the sword.
Why not?
Because the sword's sheath had been scratched.
Yeah. Okay, so sorry.
See?
Sorry that I'm going through this so fast. It's just that since this is the first class trial, I'm guessing it's a little bit easier. But like, it's pretty clear because I remember the scratch marks on the sheath, and the sword hasn't even been taken out yet. You know?
There's a gash in it. Like someone cut into it with something sharp.
Something sharp? You mean like the kitchen knife? That was the only sharp thing found at the scene.
Stop jumping ahead! Slow down and explain it so I get what the hell's going on.
If the sword was used first, there wouldn't be any explanation for the scratch on the sheath. If you were going to attack with the sword, you'd take it out of the sheath first, right?
That's true. With the sheath on, it'd be heavy and bulky and useless as shit.
Okay, so how did the sheath get damaged?
If they got attacked with the kitchen knife, maybe they grabbed the sword as a defensive impulse.
Okay, so you guys, I realize this is tough down for me. I'm just going to go over my dynamics if you know what I'm talking about.